some news today. Today we're gonna go over talk about a little bit of Crawford, Canelo, Spence, Crawford, Usyk, Dubois, Wilder, Ruiz, Shakur, Martin. All right, let's get to it, man. So we've been hearing that what's it called? You know, Spence, Crawford. We all know what happened. I picked Spence. Spence lost. He got beat bad by Crawford, to say the least. Crawford looked amazing. He really did. Crawford looked amazing. And I talked about it before. About Derrick James kept talking about during the training. He kept having to get massages because Spence was hitting so hard. You know what I'm saying? But my question is, what happened? What happened? You know what I'm saying? We keep saying that Spence had a rib injury, he was drained, so forth and so forth. That very well may be true, but what was going on in training where he was hitting so hard that Derrick James was getting extra massages, and then all of a sudden that stopped. You know what I mean? So I do think that that's very interesting. I would like to know. I would like to know more about it. I keep hearing about this rib injury. Spence wasn't able to train for the last 6 weeks, and I do believe something was going on. Right at the fight, he mentioned, his timing was off. You know what I mean? He was falling by jabs. I seen a lot of clips. I seen a lot of professional athletes talked about, especially Shane Mosley, about how he was wobbly. That's why he was falling down by getting hit with jabs. Well, it wasn't a real jab, it was by a cross, but I think by a hook. But I get what he was saying in the sense of there's something that was wrong with Spence. Now, to Beaumont's credit, that's on Derrick James. So on Derrick James, there's no way you have your fighter in there and he's like that. And then you have Gary Russell Jr. who talk about, I seen him in training and the coach hit him and he flew clear across the ring. That's not a Crawford problem. It's unfortunate that Crawford fights and then it's something else wrong. You know what I mean? Before the fight, Derrick James was talking about how they didn't respect Crawford's resume. He didn't fight enough quality opponents. All the opponents had a flaw to them. And then there was a part where even Spence said, because I think Crawford had mentioned, who did he mention? He mentioned one fighter. And he goes, well, what about me? Then why are you fighting me? We have the same injury. Well, in a sense, it goes back to that. It's another flawed fight in the sense of the eyes of the public. Now, we ought to give Crawford the respect. I think he beat the hell out of Spence in that ring. And I don't think that, honestly, for what they trained for, it didn't look like Spence was ready to handle what Crawford had anyway. Let that be said here on Black Man's Thoughts. 154. That's the rematch. They're saying that Spence, we've heard him say he wants the rematch, but I heard that he hasn't officially activated it. I heard that is getting down to the last few days, or it may be down to the last days, and I still haven't heard anything from it. I think Beaumont even said recently that he has not heard from nothing yet. He hasn't heard from Crawford yet saying anything about it, which means that he hasn't been contacted. So let's just keep an eye on that. They say that, I believe they both was weight drained. Crawford said that he was weight drained too. So it's going to be interesting at 154, which I do believe that they will both have more energy, but Crawford's going to be just that much stronger. We have to remember that. Yeah, Spence is going to have energy, but Crawford's going to be that much stronger. He's going to be that much agile. So, and I mean that with energy wise. So hopefully, Spence can take this fight a lot more serious, but I would like to see Spence really fight somebody else. You know what I mean? I would like to see them both fight someone else, because Vomac said that you did the worst thing, which is let Crawford get fill out and get comfortable at 147. Well, if that's the case on 147, it's going to be the case for 154. Let them both get a fight under their belt. Let them both get comfortable with that weight. I don't want no 2 fights, 3 fights into 154. Oh, this is the best me, and he didn't fight the best me. Nope. Let's get that shit out right now. Well, sorry, my cousin. So let's get that out right now. Have him wait. You know what I mean? I do believe that it's going to be an interesting rematch, and I do have Crawford winning the rematch, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Let's move on. Crawford now is, calling out Canelo. Canelo said that he would accept if Crawford moves to 168. They're both, I think, under the PBC right now, so we'll see about that. I think by far Crawford is the more skilled fighter, but jumping up all the weight classes, man, can he handle Canelo's shots? He is not Floyd Mayweather. Let's get that straight right now. So he will get hit. He is going to get hit. And that's just the bottom line. He's going to get smacked. He's going to get popped. And can he take that? And Canelo, he's very versed at this weight. Canelo was no slouch. Let's get that out of the damn way right now. I'm not one of those Canelo haters. No, I don't think he's bad. No, I don't think he's the greatest. But at the same time, that dude can scrap. And dude can pop, man. So whether you think he ducks black fighters, whether you think he has slow footwork, whether you think all that, I agree. But get him in the ring, he gonna crack you. And the interesting thing is, will Terrence Crawford stick to the game plan? Will he make Canelo move? Would that be the game plan? You know what I mean? Look what Caleb Plant do. I think Caleb Plant outboxed Canelo. I think Caleb Plant was winning up until the point where he got knocked out, and I think that Crawford is way better than Caleb Plant. But what happened? When he got tired, he got lazy. What Deontay Wilder say? All I need is 1 second. You got to be perfect the whole fight. And I think that's the situation. To fight Canelo, you coming in at a smaller weight class and coming up, you have to be perfect because that stocky dude, he's coming forward. His pressure is going to come forward, and he's going to apply a lot of pressure and a lot of pain behind those punches. So that's going to be interesting. I do think that Canelo will struggle against Charlo as well. And but Charlo has to go in there, and he can't be respecting Canelo. It can't be all this respect and love and it's the great Canelo. That's what Caleb Plant messed up. You know what I mean? I understand respecting your opponent, but when you're in that ring, there is no respect for those amount of times. You have to go in with a killer mindset, and you have to be ready to attack your opponent. And I hopefully the mindset of going into the fight Canelo is attack. No friends, none of that stuff. You know what I mean? So we'll see what that looks like. I do have Charlo winning that fight though, but we're gonna see. I think it's not gonna come down so much as skill or size. I think it's gonna have something to do more with the mindset. What is the mindset going into the fight for Charlo? I know Canelo. He mad right now. Everybody kept calling him a duck, and now let's bring him on. Let's line him up. So maybe this is his last run, and this is his last streak that's proof his greatness. So when you fight Canelo, you don't have to come in there ready to rock and roll. Who else? We got Usyk just fought Dubois. Definitely think that was not a low blow. Definitely think that Usyk was gifted a win. Danny Dubois displayed a lack of heart after it didn't go his way, being knocked down twice on two, to me, questionable punches that had no power to me. But again, I'm not in that ring. I can't sit there and say that. I'm not going through the fatigue while getting hit, but certainly looking at it multiple times, there's no way he should have went down like that. I read yesterday, he said he went to his corner and was looking at his corner and all this other stuff. No, bro, you don't have to look. At that point in time, it's a flight or fight situation. Yeah, the corner may tell you to go down on one knee, but they don't tell your ass to stay down there for the whole 10 count. So that was something that to me is the heart problem. You know what I mean? It's when he doesn't get his way, when it wasn't gifted to him, which he rightfully so, he won, but they took that from him. I will say that. He displays a level of quit in him that I would not give him another opportunity to fight for any belts, because that is a privilege. You know what I mean? And to me, he's shown that multiple times where he has that quit in him. Usyk, I don't think he can beat Wilder. I definitely don't think he can beat Fury now. I think Daniel Dubois definitely laid down a blueprint. I know, the promoter is trying to, you know, he's trying to appeal it. I don't think he's going to win. But what I would like to know is, where are the Loma fans who said that he was cheated? Do they feel the same with Daniel Dubois? I don't hear the same outcry. Where are the same Negroes that were calling that Loma was so great? I don't hear Shakur Stevenson and all them. If this is about being fair, if this is about being honest, then there's no way that you can be silent on Dubois but then speak loudly on Shakur, on Loma. Because the biggest robbery was Dubois Usyk. Clearly, that man was out of there. So much that the referee was telling him and giving him extra minutes after the fighter said, I don't want him. So, you know, to me, that speaks volumes. Shout out to Derek Chisora for getting there and said, hey, you know, it was an all-white arena, all-white refs, all-white judges in this man's field. What do you expect? And that's sad because it's 2023. You know, definitely, you know, you live and you on this planet for more than and been in the black community for, you know, you understand what you're up against, and you hate that it spills over into other areas of life, but that is life. But at the same time, the boys, if you know that going in there, you've been a black man all your life. There's no reason why you go out on one knee. I don't respect that. I don't respect that from Anthony Joshua. I don't respect that from not Andrew Johnson, I'm sorry. I don't respect that from Dubois, man. That's just something that I don't like that. You know what I mean? Don't quit, especially if you know that your back is against the wall. Don't give them what they want. You know what I mean? Off that, man. Again, I just think that Usyk, he doesn't show that he's great. He shows the same thing every fight. He shows spurts, he moves, but then if you watch the fight, though, he's very susceptible to getting beat. So I definitely think that, you know, soon that Usyk time is coming where he's going to have that L on his record as a heavyweight. Wilder Ruiz. Wilder kept saying that he would ask for 10 million. Then I heard 25 million, 20 million. And then Andy Ruiz jumps out and says, oh, I want 10 million. But bro, when you fought Anthony Joshua, both times you got 9 million. Before that, you was getting 1 million. You are outpricing yourself. That is crazy. 10 million for a non-title fight? You didn't even get 10 million when you were the title holder. So Ruiz is ducking. It's a shame. I would definitely like to see Wilder get into another ring, going that long with just one round with the you know, the Nordic Nightmare, Robert Helenius. That's not enough. I would like to see more. I like the path that Anthony Joshua is on. I don't think he's nowhere near better than Wilder, but what I'm saying is that they're doing him, I think, a better path in the sense of fight, getting comfortable with your new trainer, and then go against the bigger fights. Whereas the last big fight with Deontay Wilder was Fury, and then his ring, the rounds after that was what, a 1 round against Robert Helenius. So I definitely think the matchup with Ruiz would definitely tune him up for Wilder. We're gonna see. He wants a 2-fight deal, one in Saudi Arabia, one in Africa. We'll see. Again, I think the last fight we're gonna talk about is Frank Martin, Shakur. Who do you got? I got Shakur. I don't think Frank Martin is ready. I heard he got some pop. I haven't seen enough from Frank Martin. I know he's got his fights. I know he's got his amount of fights, man. But I haven't seen enough to see where he's any matchup against Shakur. It's going to be a decent fight, but I definitely think Shakur is just going to win. Shakur, I think he's the top of the 135 division. Under him, you know what I mean? Next to him is Tank. Slightly under him is Tank, I believe. And, you know, throw Devin Haney in the mix. I still think Shakur may be the better fighter. But, you know, Devin Haney, you know, was the undisputed, moving up to 140 to fight Regis program. We're going to see how that goes. But, again, I don't think Frank Martin really... I think it's going to be a decent fight, honestly. It's going to be a good look. Shout out to Earl Spence for setting this fight up. Cruz, duck Shakur. Isaac Cruz. Loma, duck Shakur. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about Shakur ducking Loma. They only want to talk about Loma being cheated, and all of a sudden, when it's time to fight again, he wants to go back to his country. You know what I mean? But he wasn't trying to go back when he was trying to get that fight from Devin Haney. You know, so that's interesting. You know, so just keep that in mind, man. Shout out to Spence and Martin. You know, Man Down Promotions for getting this fight going. You know, I think Shakur is the next reigning champ at 135. Honestly, I would like to see what Tank is going to do. That's the thing with Tank. That's the thing that really confuses me with Tank. He's the cash cow of boxing. Look who he's fighting. Who he's fighting. He already beat Pitbull with one hand. People don't like to talk about that. The brother broke his hand and still outboxed Isaac Pitbull proves. And people going crazy because he didn't knock him out, but that's fine. You're not going to knock out everybody in boxing, you know? So, you know, all I kept hearing about was when Tank get out, he's sending Devin Haney the contract. When Devin Haney was about to fight Kambosos, he was sending Devin Haney the contract. I ain't never seen this contract. I never heard anything about this contract. What happened? What happened? The contract it's supposed to come from Haney. I mean, it's supposed to come from Tank. Nothing. You know what I mean? So I do think that's kind of odd. You know, shout out to Devin. It seems like he's the one who wants these big fights, man. It doesn't seem like Tank's team or Shakur's team really wants these fights, man, because Shakur was offered. He didn't take the 25%. If you know and believe you're better, then you can easily, during the rematch, name your price. But if you beat him so easily as you say, that shouldn't be a problem. Recently, a sparring, you know, video came out that Bill Haney dropped in response to a Shakur Haney, and Shakur says, I quit. We don't have enough information what that means, so I'm not going to get into that. But what I mean is if it was that easy, bro, that 25% would be nothing, especially knowing that you was going to win and get your price the second fight, man. So I don't know, man. You know, boxing is a very interesting sport, man. I'm definitely disappointed in the whole Usyk situation. He should not be the belt holder right now. But hey, the boys never capitalized off that. So that's where we're at right now. A lot of big fights that's coming up. Shakur again, Martin, Tank's fighting this year, fighting early next year, I believe, or late next year. Hopefully, we get the Crawford Spence coming up, and Deontay Wilder in December. I do believe some more fights is coming up. You know, in between there, Canelo is definitely fighting Charlo. We're gonna see that. So this has been a great year of boxing, y'all. But this is your man, Black Man Stats, man. This your man, Yahoo, man. Signing off. I'll holler at y'all.